Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jaya Mudiraye
Ashtapreshabhateshu
Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya
Bhagavati Uttama Shloke
Bhagavati Uttama Shloke
bhavati naishiki.
Bhakti bhavati naishiki.
Krishna swadamo bhagate.
Bhagavate.
Ramajnana givisaha.
Ramajnana givisaha.
Kalavashvadashamesha.
Kalavashvadashamesha.
Varugo Junudita. Antara Srimad Bhagavatam ki
Jai.
Aur Bhaktivinoda ki
Jai.
So, I was thinking to read from 9th canto, story of Ambarish Maharaj and Baghavatham Class. Everyone's heard the story, but it's always nice to revisit and to extract more lesson. So, we'll begin from, and we have some commentary, and then up to the point where Lord Krishna glorifies devotees and says something about the importance of devotees. So beginning with text 14, text 14, chapter 9, chapter 9, chapter 14. If you're following here.
We'll just discover.
You gotta bring it up here.
Yeah, we connect through mobile. We just spell the verse and we'll dispel it.
Okay.
9th canto.
9th canto, chapter 4, text 4, beginning with text 14. 9:4:14.
9:14. Disconnected? Just 1 minute.
Just now coming.
Nine 4:14.
Ankit, it's connected. Don't just.
Yes, please.
King Parikshit inquired, O great personality, Maharaj Ambarish, was certainly most exalted and meritorious in character. I wish to hear about him. How surprising it is that the curse of a Brahmana, which is insurmountable, could not act upon him. So there's another pair of glasses in my suitcase.
Black.
Another pair of glasses in a case.
Okay, I'll tell you first.
Shukadeva Goswami said, Maharaj Ambarish, a most fortunate personality, achieved the rule of the entire world, consisting of 7 islands, and achieved inexhaustible, unlimited opulence and prosperity on earth. Although such a position is rarely attained, Maharaj Ambarish did not care for it at all, for he knew very well that all such opulence is material. Like that which is imagined in the dreams, such opulence will ultimately be destroyed. The king knew that any non-devotee who attains such opulence merges increasingly into material nature's mode of darkness. Just see the situation. This unlimited, inconceivable opulence, that means nothing to it. This is extraordinary. They say a pauper is proud of his pain. But Maharaj Ambarish is ruler of the entire world. And he's detached. This is why these stories from Bhagavatam, they're not chronological. All Bhagavatam stories are not chronological. But important stories that Lord's devotee, relationship with the Lord and his devotee, Lord's love for his devotee, devotee's love for the Lord. So they're included for that reason. Maharaj Ambarish was a great devotee of the Supreme Personality of Godhead Vasudeva and of the saintly persons who are the Lord's devotees. Because of this devotion, he thought that the entire universe was as being as insignificant as a piece of stone. is devotee of the Lord, but also devotee of Lord's devotees. Amrish Maharaj always engaged his mind in meditating upon the lotus feet of Krishna, his words in describing the glories of the Lord, his hands in cleansing the Lord's temple, and his ears in hearing the words spoken by Krishna or about Krishna. He engaged in seeing the deity of Krishna, Krishna's temples and Krishna's places like Mathura and Vrindavan. He engaged his sense of touch in touching the bodies of the Lord's devotees. He engaged his sense of smell in smelling the fragrance of tulsi offered to the Lord. And he engaged his tongue in tasting the Lord's prasad. He engaged his legs in walking to the holy places and temples of the Lord, his head in bowing down before the Lord, and all his desires in serving the Lord 24 hours a day. Indeed, Maharaj Ambarish never desired anything for his own sense gratification. He engaged all his senses in devotional service and various engagements related to the Lord. This is the way to increase attachment toward the Lord and be completely free from all material desires. In performing his prescribed duties as king, Maharaj Ambarish always offered the results of his royal activities to the Supreme Personality Bhagavad Krishna, who is the enjoyer of everything and is beyond the perception of material senses. He certainly took advice from Brahmanas, who were faithful devotees of the Lord, and thus he ruled the planet without difficulty. In desert countries, where there flowed the river Saraswati, Maharaj Ambarish performed great sacrifices like the Ashwamedha Yajna, and this satisfied the master of all yogis, the Supreme Personality Godhead. Such sacrifices were performed with great opulence and suitable paraphernalia and with contributions of dakshina for the Brahmanas, who were supervised by great personalities like Vashishta, Asita, and Gautama, representing the king, the performer of the sacrifices. And the sacrifice arranged by Maharaj Ambarish, the members of the assembly and the priests, especially Hota, Uddata, Brahma, and Atvaryu, were gorgeously dressed, and they all looked exactly like demigods. They eagerly saw to the proper performance of the yajna. The citizens of the state of Maharaj Ambarish were accustomed to chanting and hearing about the glorious activities of the personality of Godhead. Thus, they never aspired to be elevated to the heavenly planets, which are extremely dear, even to the demigods. Those who are saturated with the transcendental happiness of rendering service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead are uninterested even in the achievements of great mystics, for such achievements do not enhance the transcendental bliss felt by a devotee who always thinks of Krishna within the core of his heart. The king of this planet, Maharaj Ambarish, does perform devotional service to the Lord, and in this endeavor practice severe austerity, always satisfying the Supreme Personality of Godhead by his constitutional activities. He gradually gave up all material desires. Maharaj Ambarish gave up all attachment to household affairs, wives, children, friends, and relatives, to the best of powerful elephants, to beautiful chariots, carts, horses, and inexhaustible jewels, and to ornaments, garments, and an inexhaustible treasury. He gave up attachment to all of them, regarding them as temporary and material. You would think he's getting a higher taste somewhere along the line, right? How to give up? People can't give up anything in this world, they call you. We can't even conceive of his opulence. He's living as completely insignificant because of his vision of eternality. Being very pleased by the unalloyed devotion of Maharaj Ambarish, the Supreme Personality of Godhead gave the king his disc, which is fearful to enemies, and which always protects the devotee from enemies and adversities. Sadashiv Chakra Ki Jai. To worship Lord Krishna, Maharaj Ambarish, along with his queen, who was equally qualified, observed the vow of Ekadashi and Dwadashi for 1 year. In the month of Kartik, after observing that vow for 1 year, after observing a fast for 3 nights, and after bathing in the Jamuna, Maharishi Ambarish worshipped the Supreme Personality of Godhead Hari in Madhava. Following the regulative principles of Maha Abhishek, Maharishi Ambarish performed the bathing ceremony for the deity of Lord Krishna with all paraphernalia. And then he dressed the deity with fine clothing, ornaments, fragrant flower garlands, and other paraphernalia for worship of the Lord. With attention and devotion, he worshipped Krishna, and all the greatly fortunate Brahmanas were free from all material desires. Thereafter, Maharishi Ambarish satisfied all the guests who arrived at his house, especially the Brahmanas. He gave in charity 60 crores of cows whose horns were covered with gold plate and whose hooves were covered with silver plate. All the cows were well decorated with garments and had full milk bags. They were mild natures, young and beautiful, and were accompanied by their cows. After giving these cows, the king first sumptuously fed all the Brahmanas. And when they were fully satisfied, he was about to observe the end of Ekadasi with their permission by breaking the fast. Exactly at that time, however, Durvasa a great and powerful mystic, appeared on the scene as an uninvited guest. After standing up to receive Durvasa Muni, King Ambarish offered him a seat and paraphernalia of worship. Then, sitting at his feet, the king requested the great sage to eat. Durvasa Muni gladly accepted the request of Maharishi Ambarish, but to perform the regulative ritualistic ceremonies, he went to the river Jamuna. There he dipped into the water of auspicious Jamuna and meditated upon impersonal knowledge. Compare his worship to the worship of Maharishi Ambarish, his worshiping Krishna with full bhakti devotion, decorating the deity with flower garlands and incense, and worshiping with bhakti. And the Rasa is doing what? Meditating in impersonal Brahman. Aham Brahmasmi. This is their meditation. And typically they begin to think that I am that Brahman. I am Brahman. Lord is Brahman. I am Brahman. I am the Lord. Tattvamasi. But devotee can never feel like that. Devotee doesn't think Aham Brahmasmi. He prays Aham Tavasmi. I'm not you. I'm yours. See the difference? We pray Tavasmi Radhika Nata Karmana Manasakya Krishna Kante Tavayvasmi Yugameva Vikrima Sharanambam Papadavasmi Karuna Nikarafano Prasalam Pavadasambho Mai Dushte Parati. The Karmana Manasakya, whatever I do, my words, my activities, my wealth, my everything, I offer to you. Because I am yours. Even though Mai Dushte Paradini, even though I'm such fallen, rascal, unqualified person. This is see how the difference between devotee's mentality and the mentality of the impersonalists. They're thinking, I am the Lord. This is foolish idea. Because he's Brahman, I'm Brahman, we're the same. Nirvishesh mentality, Advaita mentality. It's like saying, Guru Raj Prabhu is an Indian. Yes, everyone will agree. Guru Raj Prabhu, he's born here. He has Indian body. Prime Minister Narendra Modi is also Indian, correct? So Guru Raj is Narendra Modi. Does it make sense? This is the logic they're following. I am Brahman, Lord is Brahman, I am the Lord. Guru Raj is Indian, Narendra Modi is Indian, he's Narendra Modi. We do pranam. So see the difference. The king said, to transgress the laws of respectful behavior toward the Brahmanas is certainly a great offense. On the other hand, if one does not observe the breaking of the fast within the time of Dwadasi, there is a flaw in one's observance of the vow. Therefore, O Brahmanas, if you think that it will be auspicious and not irreligious, I shall break the fast by drinking water. In this way, after consulting with the Brahmanas, the king reached his decision For according to Brahminical opinion, drinking water may be accepted as eating and also as not eating. O best of the Kuru dynasty, after he drank some water, King Ambarish, meditating upon the Supreme Personality Godhead within his heart, waited for the return of the great mystic Durvasa Muni. Ambarish Maharaj is meditating on the Lord in his heart. Durvasa Muni is meditating on personal love, which is bona fide meditation. But see the difference in character. After executing the ritualistic ceremonies to be performed at noon, Durvasa returned from the bank of the Yamuna. The king received him well, offering all respects, but Durvasa Muni, by his mystic power, could understand that King Ambarish had drunk water without his permission. So arrogant. So arrogant. Because Maharaj Ambarish is humble devotee, so dear to the Lord. And Durvasa is thinking, I am Durvasa Muni, powerful yogi, mystic. Aham Brahmasmi. How dare he do this? He has offended me. Devotee never takes offense. Someone may pranadati sanechina, taranadi sanechina. Amani namanadina kirtaniya sadhana. Still hungry, Durvasa Muni, his body trembling, his face curved, and his eyebrows crooked in a frown, angrily spoke as follows to King Ambarish, who stood before him with folded hands. Alas, just see the behavior of this cruel man. He is not a devotee of Lord Vishnu. Being proud of his material opulence and his position, he considers himself God. Just see how he has transgressed the laws of religion. Who is transgressed? Who is proud, thinking himself to be God? The same when you point at someone with your finger like this, 3 fingers are pointing at you. So he's saying to Ambarish, you're not a devotee of God. Who is not devotee of Lord Vishnu? Durvasa. Who is acting in a cruel way? He's going to curse Ambarish. He's a cruel man. Being proud of opulence, position, Durvasa. Considering himself to be God, Durvasa. But he's saying like this too, pure devotee. Maharaj Ambarish, you have invited me to eat as a guest, but instead of feeding me, you yourself have eaten first. Because of your misbehavior, I shall show you something to punish you. Completely against the laws of religion. Such insignificant, if we can call it an offense from absolute position, but such a small thing. And for this, he's trying to kill Maharaj Ambarish. Who is transgressing the laws of religion? Durvasa. As Durvasa Muni said this, his face became red with anger, uprooting a bunch of hair from his head. He created a demon resembling a blazing fire and devastation to punish Maharaj Ambarish. Taking a trident in his hand and making the surface of the earth tremble with his footsteps, that blazing creature came before Maharaj Ambarish. But the king, upon seeing him, was not at all disturbed, did not move even slightly from his position. As fire in the forest immediately burns to ashes an angry snake, so, by the previous order of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, this disc, the Sudarshan Chakra, immediately burned to ashes the created demon to protect the Lord's devotee. Upon seeing that his own attempt had failed, and that the Sudarshan Chakra was moving toward him, Durvasa Muni became very frightened and began to run in all directions to save his life. See the difference? Maharaj Ambarish has his hands folded. Guess what does he see? Kalosmi Bharatashya. I am time, I am Mrityu Sarv Bharatashya, which says, I am death, I am time. He's saying, here's Krishna. If I'm to die by the Lord's will, then let me die. He's not moving an inch. This huge, imagine the scene. When we read Baghavatham, we bring our mind to the scene. This huge fire-breathing demon making the earth tremble with every step, approaching Maharaj Ambarish to kill him. Maharaj Ambarish is staying, not moving again. But yes, here is my word. Let my death come, if it is the will of the Lord. But Durvasa, he's running like a scared girl. He's running like a little girl. Oh, Sudarshan Chakra. He's full of fear. Though it is Abhay Charanar Vindure. Abhay Charan. That's a nice story. Srila Prabhupada was walking with the devotees near the Victoria Memorial. That is a beautiful park in Calcutta, around Victoria Memorial. And Srila Prabhupada was saying that when he was a young man, and Victoria Memorial was under construction, he climbed up on the scaffolding all the way to the top of Victoria Memorial, was looking up. The devotee said, Prabhupada, you were so brave. I would say, I am still brave. I came to your country. Unassisted, with no support, I came to your country. Abhay Charanara Vindure, Srila Prabhupada. So this is devotee. He knows he's Konteya Pati Jani Namri Bhakti. He's always under the protection of the Lord. Because the Lord has so much feeling for his devotee. And this we're going to read in a few minutes. Baghavatham Class is running to save his life. As the blazing flames of the forest fire pursue a snake, the disc of the Supreme Personality of Godhead began following Baghavatham Muni. Baghavatham Muni saw that the disc was almost touching his back, and thus he ran very swiftly, desiring to enter a cave of Sumera mountain. Just to protect himself, Baghavatham Muni fled everywhere, in all directions, in the sky, on the surface of the earth, in caves, in the ocean, on different planets, on the rulers of the three worlds, and even on the heavenly planets. But wherever he went, he immediately saw following him the unbearable fire of the Sudarshan Chakra. With a fearful heart, Baghavatham Muni went here and there, seeking shelter. But when he could find no shelter, he finally approached Lord Brahma and said, Oh my Lord, O Lord Brahma, kindly protect me from the blazing Sudarshan Chakra, sent by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Lord Brahma said, at the end of the Dviparadra, when the pastimes of the Lord come to an end, Lord Vishnu, by flicking of his eyebrows, vanquishes the entire universe, including our places of residence. Such personality as me and Lord Shiva, as well as Daksha, Bhrigu, and similar great saints, of which they are the head, and also the rulers of all living entities, the rulers of human society, and the rulers of all the demigods, all of us surrender to that Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Vishnu, bowing our heads, carry out his orders for the benefit of all living entities. Durvasa, who was greatly afflicted by the blazing fire of the Sudarshan Chakra, was thus refused by Lord Brahma. He tried to take shelter of Lord Shiva, who always resides on his planet known as Kailash. Lord Shiva said, My dear son, I, Lord Brahma, and the other demigods who rotate within this universe under the misconception of our greatness, cannot exhibit any power to compete with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. For innumerable universes and their inhabitants come into existence and are annihilated by the simple direction of the Lord. Past, present, and future are well known to me. Sanat Kumara, Narada, the most revered, Lord Brahma, Kapila, Apantaratma, Devala, Yamaraj, Asuri, Marichi, and many saintly persons headed by him, as well as many others who have achieved perfection. Nonetheless, because we are covered by the illusory energy of the Lord, we cannot understand how extensive that illusory energy is. You should simply approach that Supreme Personality of Godhead to get relief, for the Sudarshan Chakra is intolerable even to us. Go to Lord Vishnu. He will certainly be kind enough to bestow all good fortune upon you. Thereafter, being disappointed, even in taking shelter of Lord Shiva, Baghavatham Muni went to Vaikuntha Dham, where the Supreme Personality of Godhead Narayan resides with his consort, the goddess of fortune. Baghavatham Muni, the great mystic, scorched by the heat of the Sudarshan Chakra, fell at the lotus feet of Narayan. his body trembling, he spoke as follows. O infallible, unlimited Lord, protector of the entire creation, you are the only desirable objective for all devotees. I am a great offender, my Lord. Please give me protection. O my Lord, O Supreme Controller, without knowledge of your unlimited prowess, I have offended your most dear devotee. Very kindly save me from the reaction of this offense. You can do everything, but even if a person is fit for going to hell, you can deliver him simply by awakening in his heart the holy name of your Lordship. This is important to note. He's saying, please free me from the reaction. He's not interested to apologize to Maharaja Ambarish. He's simply self-interested. I don't want a negative reaction. I want to go on with my life being offensive. But he doesn't want to bow down to Maharaja Ambarish to become free. He doesn't want to suffer. He thinks the Lord is simply there for to relieve him from suffering. And typically, that is how people approach God. They want something from him. I want a car, a home, a baby, a house, a wife, a position, bank balance, respect, health, wealth, fame. Everyone approaches God, and that's, Krishna explains in Bhagavad Gita, Chaturveda Bhajanti Mam. This is pious. But this is also business, right? I give you, you give me. Baniya. Prahlad says, don't be banik, don't be a banik, and do business for the Lord. And the Vedas are full of such prescriptions. Satyanaya Katha, Bolo Shri Satyanaya Bhagavan Ki. I gave you ghee, gehu ka atta, dude, dahi. Now you give me. This is business. People do this when they open a business, when they get a new house. This is pious, it's religious. But it's karma mishra bhakti. It's mixed devotion. And this is what else can we expect from Durvasa? So he's saying, free me from the reaction to he's acknowledging that he's made an offense to Maharaj Ambarish. But he's saying, I just want to become free from the reaction. He's not wanting to stop being offensive. The Supreme Personality said, I am completely under control of my devotees. Indeed, I am not at all independent. Because my devotees are completely devoid of material desires, I sit only within the core of their hearts. But to speak of my devotee, those who are devotees of my devotee are very dear to me. This is an important verse. Aham bhakta parayano tasvatanti vajaya sadhavya krishna vidya bhaktar bhakta janapriya. He says, satantra, I have no independence. Think of the implication of this statement. That the infinitesimal jiva soul, keshagra shatabhagasa chatada kopitasya, 1/10,000th the size of a tip of a hair. Take one hair, tiny, the tip of a hair is a keshagra. It's very tiny. I mean, you can see the hair, but can you see the tip? Very small. Divided 100 times. Divide that 100th part 100 times. 1/10,000th the size of a tip of a hair. 2 angstroms. Very small. That insignificant living being, Atma, controls the infinite Supreme Lord. Yasaika Nishvasataka Tavalam Yajivanti Homadavajatiganandanata Vishnur Mahansa Yasya Kalavachesha Govindam Hari Purisham Tamaham Yakarana Vijay Bhajati Smayogam. Verses that explain. These are portions of a portion of Krishna. Krishna's business isn't creating and maintaining the universe. Planets are coming from the millions of universes are coming from the pores of his body, Mahavishnu. And he's saying, I'm controlled by infinitesimal living being. This is the power of bhakti. This is why bhakti is the most difficult process. There's a class of person who say, no, jnana is everything. And bhakti is for kids, for old people and kids. You know, Makan Shore, Giridhari, is very cute. But this cute Leela is topmost Leela. Even Lord Brahma, we understand, was bewildered, Mohan, Brahma Vimohan, Leela. Bewildered when he saw Krishna sitting with the cowherd boys. And the cowherd boys are eating off Krishna's plate. And Krishna's eating off cowherd boy's plate. Krishna's ready to put a sweet in his mouth, and the cowherd boy is snatching it from his hand. Ha! I'll eat that. And Krishna's eating off this we say, Juta. And the cowherd boys, and Krishna's eating off the plate of his devotee. When Lord Brahma sees this, he thinks, this diminutive, talkative little boy is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the source of Lord Vishnu. Impossible. So he tests him, and he steals all the calves and all the cowherd boys, all the gopas, and puts them in a cave. Okay, we'll see what he does now. And he comes back, and what does he see? Same cows, same boys, and he becomes bewildered. Oh, wait a minute, I just put them here, now they're here. How did that happen? He can't understand. Even with his 4 heads, he can't. Our Brahma is actually the small, he's a Chotawala Brahma. The Brahma's with 1 million heads. So our Brahma has 4 heads, and he was completely bewildered. I mean, we get bewildered with 1 head. But Brahma is bewildered with 4. Seeing the opulence of Krishna, he couldn't understand. So when Krishna does some leela, many things happen simultaneously. He bewilders Brahma, and also the cows had this desire that they want to feed Krishna. They see Mother Yashoda feeding Krishna. They want to feed Krishna. So Krishna fulfilled their desire, and when the cows were actually Vishnu Murtis, expansions of Krishna, took milk from their milk bag, the cows were in ecstasy, tears are coming from their eyes. And similarly, the gopis, the elderly gopis, they also want to feed Krishna. So when their sons come, who are actually Vishnu Murtis, expansions of Krishna, they're embracing their son, feeding their son at their breast, and tears are coming from their eyes, and all Ashtasaktika Bhava, symptoms of love of God, are manifesting in their body, feeding their son, whom they think is their son. The mother can't even tell the difference. Mother cow cannot even tell the difference. But Lord Brahma becomes completely bewildered by the scene. Because when the cows see their calves, they come running down, go over to him, jumping. The cows run with their tail up in the air, running towards their calf out of love, because it's actually Krishna. So when Krishna does some leela, many things happen simultaneously. So Brahma was chastened, he could understand his position, and the cows and the elderly gopis, they also had the desire fulfilled to embrace Krishna and feed him with their own milk. So this is Krishna. He's saying, I have no independence, even though he's the bewilderer of Brahma, the creator. His real interest is to simply enjoy Leela with his devotees. People have this idea of God, he's sitting on a throne somewhere. And he's the witness of all man's sinful life. And he's like a universal scorekeeper. Okay, I saw you do that. Okay, another one. Okay, one good thing, okay. Is this God's business? Just keep score of our life. Keep track of our sins. But he wants to play with his devotees. He wants to enjoy rasa with his devotees, dance with devotees, wrestle with his devotees. And this is, gopas are doing like this. They're fixing Krishna's hair. They take big lotus pad, they're fanning Krishna. They're playing chess with Krishna. They're thinking, I have to help Krishna kill demons. And Krishna is loving this because they think Krishna is just one of us. He's one of the boys. They're unable to, this is samatha. They are thinking he's just one of us. They can't think he's God. They're playing games together, and the loser has to carry the winner on their shoulders. So Krishna is carrying Sridham on his shoulders. He's holding Sridham's feet. He's carrying him. This is samatha, equality. They challenge Krishna. You think you're so big. Krishna, you're so proud. You think you're bigger, so stronger? We're strong. We're bigger and stronger. Come on, let's wrestle. I'll show you. This is described. Adi Leela, chapter 4. How bhakti imbued with this Aishwarya, of worship of God, makes bhakti feeble. Can Mother Yashoda feel that I need to protect Krishna? I need to feed him. I need to dress him nicely. I need to protect him to hope that he doesn't grow up. I mean, he's always stealing. What kind of boy my son's going to become? How can she feel like that if she's seeing him as the Supreme Personality of Godhead? This is Mother Yashoda. Of course, that bhava, Mother Yashoda's bhava, is covered when Krishna shows his universal form. The cowherd boys came to Krishna and said, "Your son has eaten dirt." Mother Yashoda said, "I don't think so. I feed him very nice food. Bundi Badu, Sandesh, Puri, Halala, Sati, he eats so nicely. Why will he eat dirt? I don't think so." Said, "No, he has eaten dirt." So she approached Krishna and said, "No, these boys are just complaining about me. Balaram is making some politics against me. I have not eaten dirt. Look at my mouth and see." So she opens her mouth. Krishna opens his mouth. What does he see? Brahmanda. All Brahmanda within his mouth. Krishna opens his mouth. What does he see? Brahmanda. All Brahmanda within his mouth. Bhakti makes bhakti feeble, makes it weak. So in our Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya, this is our prayojana. Spiritual life doesn't mean forever practicing anartha nibhriti. Not this, don't do this, no, 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 no. And if we think like that, we become very dry in spiritual life. But ultimately, bhakti means, yes, this, remember Krishna, his kindness, his loving relationship. Hear his name, chant his name, take prasadam, dance, sing, be joyful. This is the positive nature of Krishna bhakti. It's not just a bunch of rules that have to be followed. We should come to the stage of raga, or feeling for Krishna, raga nuga bhakti. But can you pull it out of the air? You have to pass through anartha nibhriti. You can't jump over anartha nibhriti. This is the meaning of sahaja. They're full of anarthas, but they're going Radhe, 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 Radhe. One time, when man came in front of Srila Prabhupada, and he threw himself on the ground, he was rolling on the ground, like Radhe, 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 Radhe. Prabhupada said, "Little more than that." And he got up and walked off. Another time, man was carrying on like that, and at some Prabhupada said, "Throw a bucket of water on me." And if he doesn't, but if he becomes angry, throw him out. So we can't jump over an activity. We have to deal with lust, greed, anger, fear, malice, envy, all the nasty things that live in our heart. Come to that stage because raga doesn't begin until bhava, till bhava. Then we begin to understand our eternal relationship with Krishna. So what are we practicing? Probably sometimes people criticize our ISKCON society and they say, "Oh, you're just neophyte people. You're only doing Vaidhi Bhakti, rules and regulations." But is our morning program Vaidhi Bhakti? Is this our meditation that Srila Prabhupada introduced? Shri Radha Krishna Seva Pavo Eyavilasi Eneve Dhanadara Sakhya Anagata Karo Seva Adikaro Diye Karo Dijadasi. What is this for me? What does it mean? Guru Raj Kuru.
Give service to me.
Eneve Dhanadaram Sakhya Anagata Karo. What does it mean? Sakhya Anagata.
Servant, consider my prayer and make me one of the servants of your service.
Sakhya Anagata means Manjari. Who is follower of the Sakhis and Manjaris? This is a Koronija Dasi. Make me your Dasi. This is the ultimate rasic prayer. And Prabhupada introduced in our society that we pray every day. Give me the adhikar to serve. Make me your anugatya of these sakhis. Make me manjari. Radha Krishna Seva Pava. So they say, oh, at the best, because you're just inviting bhakti, you can go to Vaikuntha. Is this our prayer? Lakshmi Narayan Seva Pava Yabilasi. Radha Krishna Seva Pava Yabilasi. Nikunjayono Ratikeli Siddha Yayali Rajukti Rapekshaniya. What does it mean? Prabhuji, what does that mean?
It means that I want to serve Lord in His eternal pastimes. So my spiritual master is serving the Lord in His eternal pastimes, Radha Krishna's pastimes.
Where? This.
In Vrindavan.
What's a Nikunja?
Nikunj is a special of. It's like smaller kunj, which is more like sacred and more
Very special kunja.
very special.
Very private kunja, where the manjaris and sakhis are arranging for Krishna service. And our meditation is that. We're meditating on Guru doing that. Is Prabhupada there by himself? He had no follower, no disciple that's assisting him. When we sing this prayer, we meditate on your Guru as assistant of Srila Prabhupada serving in the Kunja Seva. Is this the meditation of Vaidhi Bhakti? Of beginners? This is highest thing. And Prabhupada introduced it on us because we're meditating, we should be meditating every day on what is the meaning of this prayer. Pratikshana, the devotee. We meditate on Guru as relishing Radha Krishna Leela. Not Lakshmi Narayan, Radha Krishna Leela. This is Vishwanath Chakravarti's prayer. Every day we're praying to Tulsi Maharani in this way. Who is Tulsi Maharani? Tulsi Maharani means Vrinda Devi. Samasta Vaikuntha Shiramana Shri Krishnasya Vrindavana Dhandidhami Data Dikare Dashavanu Putra Vinde Namaste Charanarindam. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. He said that topmost planet, Samasta Vaikuntha Shiromani. What is that? Shiromani planet, topmost Vaikuntha. Goloka. Goloka Dham. And in Goloka, Srimati Radharani has given full responsibility to Vrinda Devi. How Radha Krishna will be worshipped. How the wind will blow. What scent it will carry. What flowers will decorate Srimati Radharani. What sweet will be offered. What savour will be offered. What drink will be offered. How the Nikunja will be decorated with what flowers and what season, what color. But for everything. Just like an orchestra. There's the woodwind section, the percussionist, the brass section, and there's a conductor in front. He's like, okay, he's faster, slower, louder, softer. He's conducting the symphony to make beautiful music. Srimati Radharani has given that responsibility to Vrinda Devi and Vrindavan and Goloka and Radha Krishna Seva. And people think you're worshipping a plant. If that's all you see, you're worshipping a plant. And from material vision, Tulsi has roots, she has bark, she has chlorophyll, and seeds, and flowers, and leaves, and branches. But she's directly Vrinda Devi, who expands her service in this world for satisfying Radha Krishna, giving the opportunity, immense blessing, opportunity for serving her. Bhaktya vihina aparada lakshay yutastakama Kripamaitam Prapana Sharanyam Vinde Namaste Charanarindam. Vishwanath Chakravarti prays that I'm been cast on an ocean of lust and anger and greed because of my offenses. But I can take shelter of Srimati Tulsi Maharani. Vinde Namaste Charanarindam, to take shelter of the lotus feet of Srimati Tulsi Maharani. So it's such an amazing opportunity. So is this meditation, is this sadhana that Srila Prabhupada introduced, the sadhana of beginners. It has the potential for highest thing. Radha Krishna Seva Bhava, service of Radha Krishna in Goloka. So we should reject persons who in ignorance make such accusations against our ISKCON society. So what did Prabhupada actually give? He gave Ajata Ruchi Bhaganuga Sadhana. Ajata Ruchi means our Ruchi, our love of God isn't manifest. It's not manifest yet, it's not born. But by this sadhana, it will be born in due course of time. Raga is born, it only appears after we overcome anartha nivritti. So we should understand this and not just be focused on anartha nivritti. Oh, my senses, my mind, my lust, my anger, my greed. We have to overcome trivanam narakasinam dvaram nashanam atmanam. Kama loba tatas todas lobas tatinam vinirgisha. We have to give up this lust, anger, and greed. But until you do, you can't taste this thing. But it's not the end of us. There's an objective behind becoming free from anarthas. And become free from that and actually taste artha pravriti. Artha pravriti is our goal. Our prayojana is Radha Krishna Seva. And devotees that take up this process are very, very dear to the Lord. Most dear to the Lord. Another verse is coming up. Another important verse that was spoken by the Lord. We continue reading.
O best of the Brahmanas, without seeing three persons for whom I am the only destination, I do not desire to enjoy transcendental bliss and my supreme opulences.
Next verse.
Since pure devotees give up their homes, wives, children, relatives, riches, and even their lives simply to serve me, without any desire for material improvement in this life or in the next, how can I ever give up such devotees at any time?
The chaste women bring their gentle husbands uncontrolled by service, the pure devotees, who are equal to everyone and completely attached to me in the core of the heart, bring me under their full control.
My devotees who are always satisfied to be engaged in my loving service are not interested even in the four principles of liberation.
Salokya,
Salokya,
Salokya, Sarupya, Samipya, Sarishti. Although these are automatically achieved by their service, what then is to be said of such perishable happiness as elevation to the higher planetary system?
The pure devotee is always within the core of my heart, and I am always in the heart of the pure devotee. The devotees do not know anything else but me, and I do not know anyone else but them.
This famous for sadhavo video mayam sadhanu pariyotam vananyatena jananti nahante dumanam. Consider the meaning of this. That Krishna has such love for devotees. What does it mean, Bhaktavatsal? You've heard the word Bhaktavatsal. What does it mean, Bhaktavatsal?
Vatsha means the cow.
Calf.
And like how cow takes care of the
Cow has so much love for its baby. We saw this at Prabhupada village. I was there for 10 years. Farm community. A little baby calf was born in the community. So we all gathered to greet it. We made a garland for it. Gave it a tikka. All the devotees having a little kirtan. So the cow, mother cow, was on the other side of the fence. Baby calf was this side of the fence. So this little tiny dog, we call lap dog. People just they keep them in their lap, like laptop, lap dog. It's like that. So this little tiny dog wants to see what's going on. He comes up to the calf, and when the mother cow saw that the dog was coming towards her calf, she almost broke through the fence. She almost broke through the fence, thinking that her calf was in danger from this tiny little, impossible. But thinking that the dog was going to harm her calf. So Krishna has such affectionate feeling for his devotees. Sadhu hridayo mayam. If sadhus are in my heart. So what does it mean if we offend a sadhu?
Offending Krishna.
You're giving pain to Krishna's heart. So sadhus are in my heart. And if we offend sadhus, we offend Supreme Personality of Godhead. We give pain to Krishna's heart. I'm in the heart of my devotee, and devotees are in my heart. This is what it means to be a devotee. They're putting a tilak, putting a dhoti, sari, kantimala. Does that make you a devotee? How do we understand who is a devotee? They're ornaments in devotees in a sadhu's life. They have a rubber stamp. Oh, sadhu, sadhu, you're trying to praise someone. Oh, you're such a great sadhu. Then ask them, what is a sadhu? I don't know. So why are you calling me sadhu? Sadhu has symptoms. There's symptoms, there's ornaments in a sadhu's life. Bhushana, the first thing, titikshava. He's tolerant. In this world, we have to tolerate many things. The heat of summer, the cold of winter, elements, other living beings, macha. They want to suck your blood. They're not trying to bless you, not giving you a kiss. They want to suck your blood. Titikshava. So many things that have to be done. Tolerate other people. The world is full of obnoxious people. They just want to give you a punch in the face. Over the slightest thing. In America, in California, actually, there was a time, there's a huge incidence of gun violence. They call it road rage. People are driving on a freeway and someone cuts you off in the traffic and they become full of anger and they chase each other. Then guy pulls out a gun, bam, and shoots him. So they made we know what a bumper sticker is? It's a piece of vinyl that's adhesive on the back and it has a slogan on it. It's called a bumper sticker and they stick it on the back of the car. So they're making bumper stickers that says, I'm sorry, don't shoot. Because people were dying because of this thing. The slightest thing. So, devotees should be tolerant of the offenses of others. Non-devotee is completely intolerant. And because we tend to offend each other, we're not perfect, we make some small offense. So, devotees should be tolerant. One devotee gave a nice example. You know what sahi is? The Hindu word is sahi, like porcupine. It's like a cat, but they have these quills, sharp quills, very sharp. They get one in, they have barbs, they're very hard to pull out. They protect themselves, and their tail is full of them. They slap you like this, and you'll get 50 of them stuck in your skin.
Is there in campus also?
There's what? They're on campus here.
Yeah.
We have everything. You have squirrels.
It comes around here also.
Everything 6
They eat bark on the trees. So be careful. So in Vrindavan, you're seeing during the winter time all the monkeys huddled together, like 30 monkeys all huddled together. Why? To stay warm, right? So these porcupines do the same thing. But one problem, they have these quills. They need each other to stay warm, but they poke each other. So our association is something like that. We need each other. But sometimes we make some little offense, we poke each other a little bit. So we should fold our hands, be tolerant with each other. Prabhu, that's my gamsha. You took my gamsha. Yeah, I'll buy you a new gamsha if you want. Can you give me my gamsha back? I'll buy you a new one. So titikshava, karunika. Karunika means you should be merciful. Why should we be merciful? How can you be merciful? What is required to be merciful? What's the requirement to be merciful? You have to understand their suffering, right? To be merciful to another person, the first requirement is to understand their suffering. If you see someone happy and walking down the street and jolly, you're going to administer first aid? A first aid is required for someone who's injured. So when we ascertain that a person has become injured, then out of mercy you help them. The first requirement is to understand how someone is suffering. And if we don't see that, what is the question of mercy? So we can understand that by examining our own life. How we're suffering in this material world. And as you get older, prabhus, matajis, you will experience. You see old people like me get off the floor. You just jump up, right? Ready to go. And get up. And everything about your body deteriorates. Your memory, your sense of deterioration is good. They don't disturb you so much. But old age is there. And we have to tolerate that. And we should feel merciful by experiencing what this world is, our own personal experience. It's not a philosophical precept that we suffer in this material world. We experience it, and everyone will in due course of time. In Mayapur, just recently, 2 days ago, a little girl and her mother were riding on their scooter. Somehow or other, the girl's cloth caught on fire. She's in our Mumbai, she was in Calcutta for some time, they couldn't treat her. 60% of her body is covered with burns. When we burn our little finger, and we cry, oh, it's burning, it won't go away, it hurts, it's painful. 60% of her body was burned when her clothing caught fire, started by this scooter. That's the nature of this world. And then the burn is prone for sepsis, for bacterial infection. So they had to transfer her to Mumbai, this Baghavatham hospital in Mumbai, near a road. So she's getting better, but how much suffering is there? Ask her if this material world is a place of suffering. What would she say? Oh, no problem. Giant nectar bliss, Haribol, blessed of Jamans. No, she hasn't even been able to eat until recently. This is a world of suffering that can come to us at any moment. So if we recognize that, having experienced it in our own life, and we can be merciful, karunika, to other people. But if you think life is a bowl of cherries, it's all about chocolate and roses and hugs and kisses and walks in the rain, and everything's wonderful, then you're a fool. And you can't be merciful because you think life is good. It's not good. Krishna says, dukkhalayam ashashvatam. We can't stay here, and there's different miseries that we're obliged to accept. Ask the people in Turkey. But 50,000 people died in Turkey. Earthquake, some like 50, 60,000. All of a sudden, they're having a cup of tea and their whole house falls down with them inside. They didn't wake up that morning, okay, now I'm not going to be able to, before they can enjoy their tea, the whole place starts shaking. Ever been in an earthquake? Very scary. Very scary. This is adhyavic miseries. You can't stop it. Anavishti, ativishti. You can't stop the onslaught of suffering in this material. It's meant for suffering. Now people ask, why? Why is there suffering in this material world? What's the answer? Why shouldn't God make this place a wonderful place where we can all be happy? No war, no disease, no pestilence, no old age, no suffering, no accidents, no little girls getting burned, no cerebral hemorrhage. Why is there suffering in this world? What is the answer? Prison house, yes. But why prison house?
We want to enjoy separately.
Yes.
If he makes this a 5-star prison, we will not go back.
That
This is a
If
hospital.
you make a, what he's saying is, if you make a happy place to live, a sort of 5-star hotel, then you will not go back.
yes.
This is a hospital, not
Because-
a hotel.
It's what?
This is a hospital, not a hotel.
Good answer. So correct. Because some people say, how is there God? Little girls get burned in their body. People die prematurely. There's war, there's pestilence, there's disease, so many problems. God should make it nicer. Why has he not made it like that? To kick us in the rear. Get out, do something, get some motivation to leave. Because we want the kingdom of God without God. We want Ram Raja, but we don't want Ram. This is Ravana's mentality, no? This is Ravana's mentality. He wants Ram Raja, he wants Lakshmi, but he doesn't want Ram. So this world must be full of different types of suffering to give us impetus that why is it like this? We should inquire. Because material nature is a great teacher. People think you can avoid Krishna, but you can't avoid material nature. So Tatiksha Karunika Surada Sarvadehinam, devotee, sadhu, he's a well-wishing friend of every living being. Except the mosquitoes. I give the mosquitoes a slap and we get too close. I'm not a sadhu, I'm not telling. So a devotee is Surya, and Ajata Shatrava, his enemy is never born. What does that mean? It means that someone may treat you as an enemy, but you don't see them as an enemy. You see, this person is treating me as an enemy due to my own karma, to my own negative karma in the past life. This person has become my enemy. You don't think I'm good and he's bad. He's a bad enemy and I'm perfectly good. Nobody thinks I'm bad, I did something so I can't have a happy relationship with this person. He's treating me as an enemy because of my fault. Ajata Shatru, his enemy's name. Ajata Shatru Shanta. And because of these previous qualifications, the devotee is always, a sadhu is always peaceful. Even in the midst of the most dangerous, trying circumstances, the devotee is peaceful. Because he's internally absorbed, he doesn't identify with mind, body, and senses. As long as we identify with mind, body, and senses, we'll always be disturbed. Because they're always disturbed. The material world is a disturbing place. But as long as we disentangle ourselves from identification with this body, then we can be peaceful. Even the most yam labdvas chaparam lavam maniti nadikam tataha. In the most trying circumstances, if you're disengaged, if your consciousness is disengaged from material consciousness of I am this body, in any circumstance you can be happy. Shanta. Sadhava, sadhubhusha. These are the ornaments of the sadhu. So someone is like that. Someone's developed so much love for the Lord. The Lord will neglect you? No. The Lord is full of love, even for non-devotee. Krishna is samaham sarvabhutishu navedeshu siddhapriya. But ye bhajanti tamam bhaktya says, I'm equal to everyone. But you can't be equal to devotee. Prabhupada mentions just like a father may have several sons. But the son who has loving relationship with the father, he's naturally inclined for that person. So Krishna is a person. He's not, a machine. He responds. He responds to our relationship with him. And for a devotee who makes Krishna everything in his life, Krishna makes that devotee everything. But what does that mean? That means that all prosperity and material happiness will come to you. Jai, nectar, bliss. Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur said, when Krishna loves you, he takes everything away. And your path is beset with thorns. Special mercy. Yasya hamanugranami harishi taddanamishanai. First installment of mercy, Krishna takes everything. If he likes it, okay, be blessed. But real, he takes everything away, and there's no shelter left but him. And Prabhupada experiences in his own way.
Yeah.
One astrologer told Prabhupada, you're meant to be more than Birla, Tata, Ambani. Of course there was no Ambani back then. But you're meant to be more than Birla and Tata. But Krishna had other plans. Why do you think that was? Prabhupada would say, well, Prabhupada's pure devotee, she had opulence, power, influence. He thought, let me do business. And there was a time in Prabhupada's life he was very successful in business. He drove American car. in Kolkata. You're like, oh, who is this big Chevrolet car? Prabhupada's driving. And he lost everything. Why? Why do you think that was? Krishna's mercy, but why? You want that mercy? Of course, you're Brahmachari, you have that mercy. Why was that? It's an important thing to understand. Prabhupada lost everything to show that Krishna was showing the world through Srila Prabhupada what is pure devotional service. Acharya. Like, who is it that at the age of 69 years old gets on a boat with 40 rupees in his pocket that you can't spend in New York City? You can't exchange it for dollars. No money in his pocket, a box of books, some cartels, and a bag of granola. Thinking, everyone is eating meat, I can't get any food there even. With a heart condition and no support, no guarantee of support, no long-term scope for spreading Krishna consciousness. Puts his life on the line. Meditate on Prabhupada, standing in New York City in the snow. Anyone seen snow? Not many, maybe. You've seen snow. Meditate Prabhupada standing in the snow with his sannyas dhoti, little chadar, his Prabhupada hat, white rubber slippers, getting off the boat, or standing in New York City. So when I got off the boat, I didn't know whether to turn right or left. No one there to help him. I come here in this beautiful prasadam, nice place to sleep, full opportunity to say something about Krishna, beautiful devotees. Prabhupada had no one, no food to eat, no support, some books, just selling a few books. He sold a book to Captain Pandya for $20. Actually, he asked 15, I think the captain gave him $20. So he got off the boat with $20 in his pocket in New York City. That's not, you can't even buy lunch hardly for $20 in New York City. So why did Krishna do this to Prabhupada? Why did his own mother practically go blind, crying for him? Mother Yashoda, the Pandavas experienced so much suffering. Why? To show the world what it means to be pure devotee. To show the example, Asli Shava Padaratam Pinashtama Adarshana Marmakatam Yat Prananatastu Saeva Napara. To show what is pure devotional service. So Prabhupada showed the world. Has so much trouble. Some of his godbrothers gave Prabhupada so much trouble. Not all. Prabhupada had a very loving relationship with some godbrothers. Trouble from his godbrothers, trouble from his own body, 2 heart attacks. 3 heart attacks, actually 2 on the boat and 1 in New York City. Then when Prabhupada left New York City, after his 3rd heart attack, he didn't even know if he was going to come back. But at least he started the Hare Krishna movement. And devotees are all crying. They become so intimately attached to Prabhupada. Because what did we know? We didn't know anything but Prabhupada. You grow up in a culture, you know what is Arati, Kirtan, Bhajan, Murti, Mridanga, all this Gita, Bhagavatam, Mahabharata, Ramayana. You grow up, this is second nature to anyone born in India. We came to the temple like, duh. Yeah. Oh, good food, okay. Like babies. And what did Prabhupada have to work with? Prabhupada was giving Bhagavad Gita class, 26 Second Avenue. He gives Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Gita class, 2 hours. So after the first hour, there'd be a break. And the devotees, I use the term very generously, would go around the corner to the coffee shop with their girlfriend and have a cup of coffee and smoke a cigarette. Then they'd come back to class. Don't laugh, you may have been one of those people. Prabhupada was cooking, collecting funds, buying samagri, ingredients for cooking, serving, and this guy's just coming, oh, good food. But somehow or other, he collected some disciples that took an interest. You know the story of first initiation? It's a nice story. Prabhu collected all the money to buy Bhogavad, cooked the feast, did the yajna. The devotees are sitting around the fire. The fire is going down. It's dying down. And he said to the devotees, offer obeisances. Bow down. He didn't say obeisance, say bow down. And the devotees are like, oh. They're so foolish, so uncultured, they didn't even know to offer their obeisances. They just accepted him as guru, and they don't even know to do pranam. Prabhupada had to tell them that also. So he said, bow down. The devotees bow down. Like, oh! They put their mouth on the fire. You know, the fire is going out, so they have to give it some oxygen. They don't. Prabhupada created a miracle. He performed impossible tasks to give the highest conception of God to the lowest class of people. Impossible task. And why did he struggle so much? To show the world what is true devotional service. To show the world. Because his idea was to do business. He was never materialistic. His idea was to make lots of money and preach. And use that money to build temples and distribute books. He was an author, he was writing books. Throughout his whole life, he was always meditating, what avenue shall I take? How shall I fulfill the message, the mission of my spiritual master? He ordered me to preach in the Western world. So Krishna took everything away. Lone penniless sadhu came to America. And from that, you go to Mayapur and see this Chatai hut. From this little Chatai hut, this huge TLDP has come. Why? By the pure desire of pure devotee and the power of the holy name. By Gauravani Pracharani. By Saraswati Devi and by Gauravani. Saraswati Devi means Prabhupada identified himself as a servant of his Guru. Guru Das, Saraswati Devi, and Gauravani Pracharani. This combination, becoming servant of Guru and preaching the mission of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, has immense potency to spread Krishna consciousness. This is our formula. Become pure devotee, servant of your Guru, and preach the message of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu with this immense potency. Miracles happen. ISKCON is a miracle. Nothing less than a miracle. Out of what? He created ISKCON out of nothing. Out of nothing. Follow the order of the spiritual master blindly. He says, I blindly follow the instruction of my Guru. Come to America? Impossible task? And start a mission with a bunch of I don't mean to offend my grandmothers, but it's not like I was a great soul. I was not a completely degraded street dog type of person. But with what did Prabhupada create this club? I know nothing. Just pure grit, pure Vedavrata, determination, faith in the order of the spiritual master. And American devotees went all over the world and spread Krishna consciousness. Indian mission came in Mayapur, Vrindavan, and Julu. Because Prabhupada was instructed by Dwarkadish directly in our LA temple. You know this story? Prabhupada, two stories. Briefly, because we're running out of time. One devotee, my Godmother Amiyatma Prabhu, wanted to greet Prabhupada. He made a plan. Okay, the car is going to come right here on the sidewalk. It's going to stop. I'll be right there, open the door for Prabhupada, give him a garland. Right in the center with Prabhupada. Jai. He said, Amiyatma Prabhu, this service to me. Please take the responsibility and do what you're asked to do. He said, okay. Prabhupada, car came. 100 devotees followed Prabhupada inside the temple room, through the front door. Next thing I know, Amyatmaka was standing right behind Srila Prabhupada, like as close as me to this microphone. And he is short, just like Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada was about 5'2", very short in stature. Amyatmaka, so he's right next to Prabhupada, and he can hear Prabhupada talking to Rukmini Dwarkadish. Prabhupada's hands, and he can't hear Dwarkadish's response. So Prabhupada's saying to Rukmini Dwarkadish. So I see you're very beautifully dressed. It's a very beautiful outfit. Are they giving you outfits like this all the time? Silence. And are they feeding you nicely? You're getting nice bhoga offering. Very well. Very good. So you're getting nice bhoga offering? Silence. Prabhupada's having conversation with Dwarkadish. By the time Prabhupada revealed that it was Dwarkadish told him on another occasion that you go to India and preach. And Prabhupada argued. This is Ragamar. Sadhana go, yes. Prabhupada argued. The devotee said, the gopis drove Krishna out of Nikunja. You go! You offended our Swami, you go. You can't come in. Go. Black cheater, go. This is what's going on in Vrindavan. It's not like, oh yes, Krishna, is he like anything you like? So Prabhupada had this argument with Krishna. Krishna said, you go preach in India. Prabhupada said, but this is our Los Angeles, this is our world headquarters. We're distributing so many books here. Many devotees are joining. Prasadam distribution is going out. Harinama is going out. We're growing here. Krishna said, go. I'll give you a temple 100 times better than this LA temple. What is that temple?
Krishna Balaram.
Krishna Balaram ki Jai. So this whole Indian preaching mission became into existence by Dwarkadish's instruction to Prabhupada. You go preach in India. So Prabhupada had a very intimate relationship with the deity. This whole business started from Dwarkadish. You're all here by Dwarkadish's omniscient understanding. There's so many souls waiting to take the Krishna consciousness. And you won't. So devotees of anyone, what to speak of the stature of devotees, especially like Srila Prabhupada, become very, very dear to the Lord. And this Leela, Ambarish Maharaj and Dravasa Muni, is a perfect example of this. Dravasa is very proud, thinking, I'm greater. This guy's a king. He has his wives, his treasury, his armies, pounds, shilling, pence. Materialistic person. I'm Dravasa Muni, great yogi, mystic siddhi. Bow down, Mr. So we should take note. Who is the devotee? Janadavi Sanichi. How do we become dear to Krishna? How do we make progress in spiritual life? Like humility. Srila Guru Govinda Maharaj said one time, there are 3 secrets to making progress in spiritual life. 3 secrets. The devotee said, well, what are they? He said, humility. 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 3 secrets to making progress in spiritual life. So Dravasa is very proud. Ambarish Maharaj is a great devotee, pure devotee. Wherever he walked to the temple. Whatever he saw, he went to see the deity. Whatever he did with his hands, he went to serve the Lord. Pure devotee. Dravasa is thinking, I'm a great devotee. So don't be proud. Be respectful to all devotees. And Krishna's mercy will come to you. And one day you can be pure devotee like Maharaj Ambarish. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam. Jai. We have time for questions?
Yes.
Okay. Someone has question? Yes, please.
Guruji, like we have read in this, Amrish Maharaj was offering obeisance and respect to Durvasa Muni also.
Yes.
He is an impersonalist, but now we see that we are very averse to impersonalists. Like we don't pay respect, like we neglect them or reject them by their name also.
Prabhupada wasn't exactly like that. He would become like fire with his heavy duty, I am God type people. But there's Brahmanandis, 4 Kumaras are Brahmanandis. They're impersonalists, but they're not arrogant impersonalists, I am God. They want to merge in Brahman, but they're not these rascal people cheating the public. So he would become like fire with them. He would say, you say, I am God, you are God, we are all God, then I am also God, but I am the kicking God. And I'm going to kick on your face with iron boot. He would become, or one time, a man, Prabhu was giving Sunday feast lecture. And he asked for questions. So one man stands up, there's like 200, 300 people in the audience. One man stands up, and he starts blabbering, how I am God, you are God, we are God. Prabhu didn't say a word. Just listen. The man's standing there. In about 30 seconds, he ran out of things to say. He's standing like a fool. He's going, sit down. You are not God, you are dog. So he can be very heavy. Sometimes when they opened Krishna Balaram temple, he invited one big Mayavadi group to attend. So he was not fanatical. Everything was to promote Krishna Balaram. So if it required chastising a person in public, he would do so. If it required offering respect to Mayavadi, he would do so. Or he went to one Gita Mela in Mumbai. He's on the stage with all these big Mayavadis. So they start talking this whole I am God, you are God. That was his start kirtan. All his Western disciples, they start kirtan. Just interrupted them. Interrupted their whole speech. And then when he said kirtan, the whole audience loved it and began chanting Hare Krishna. I was dancing white elephants. So we should be respectful. We don't hate the person. We hate the philosophy. Shankaracharya. We love Shankara. We want his mercy. He's Lord Shiva. Vaishnavana Shambhu. We want the mercy of Lord Shiva. We want Shankara's mercy. He gave many beautiful Jagannath Ashtakam, Govinda Stotram. He had many beautiful prayers. But we don't like his philosophy. We're enemies of the philosophy. But he spoke that philosophy directly on the order of the Lord. He became Shankara, Shiva became Shankara on the order of the Lord to teach us the Sat Shastram. So we should be respectful to everyone. And not if you see some Mayavadi guy with, with Frequent tilak and saffron robe, don't walk up to them and insult them. I'm going to kick on your face with steel boot. Because sometimes the word is, because they're respected in society. They're respected in society. Unfortunately. I was invited to a program at Narissa, a temple, or a Jagannath temple was opening. So one sannyasi friend invited me. He was invited actually. He was invited and he invited me to come. So we're sitting on this stage, and the Shankaracharya of Puri shows up. Now Krishna is very, very beautiful. This man is not beautiful. He's a fat old man. This is his bodily condition. But he says, I am God. Aham Brahmasmi, Tat Samasi, Advaita Bhad. So he shows up to speak at this program and with 3 Tata Sumos. One Tata Sumo in front, one Tata Sumo in back, and he's riding a Tata Sumo with armed guard. 2 men with automatic weapons to protect him. Now our Gopal, he's very gentle, delicate young boy, but he's also famous for killing demons. And we never see a picture of Gopal with armed guards with automatic weapons to protect him. So yes, there's a difference, my dear Shankaracharya, between you and Gopal. But he got on the stage and started giving a very boring lecture. And he had to leave the stage midway because it seems that God can't hold his urine. So he's under the control of Prakriti. Krishna says Prakriti works under my direction. But he can't hold his urine. So they talk a big talk. I am God, you are God, we are all God. Our response to this is do something. Show us. I was lecturing, we used to go to the Hindu temple in Charlotte, North Carolina for a Gita program every month. We read a chapter of Gita, have discussion, have questions, have prasadam, simple program. So I asked for questions, and one man starts, someone would think that actually we're all God. Aham Brahmasmi, I'm God, you're God, we're all God. I said, I'm very good, I'm very happy to meet you, Lord. So, but do one thing. There was some flower petal, I picked up a flower petal. I said, my dear Bhagavan, this is a flower petal. The God I know is maintaining universes, planets, Jupiter, Saturn, Mars, Venus, Mercury, Sun, Moon, and they're suspended in the air by God's power. This is a flower petal. I'm going to let it drop. I want you, O Bhagavan, Supreme Personality, O Lord, Omniscient Lord, O All-Powerful Lord, please make it float. Oh, you want to try that again? What can I do? Big talk, big empty talk. So we don't need to insult them, but we should, if they, in a public venue, they speak some nonsense, we should be sufficiently educated to challenge their point of view. And there are many shlokas, this is a class, this whole class, there are many shlokas in Bhagavad Gita that completely slash their idea that Atma and Paramatma are the same. And simple thing, would Hanuman ever become Ram? He's Ramadut. He's eternally Ramadut. Is his aspiration to become serving Ram so I can become Ram? Forget it, impossible. You see, Torah would have said, this is my Rama, he's in my heart. Fully surrendered, loving servant, Ramadut. Would Sita give up being Sita to become Ram? They're enjoying too much happiness being different from Ram. They're enjoying a higher happiness being eternal servant to Ram. So we have many challenges to speak to them, but we should be respectful and hate the philosophy, but not the person. Hate the sinner, not the sin. Because the way we should be known as humble, respectful people, not savage them. Don't think you can be like Prabhupada. When you walk up to some sannyasi, I'm going to kick on your, think you're God, I'm going to kick on your face with steel boot. What can you do, you rascal? You fool, you nonsense. Public will become very upset with you. Because devotees should be known as humble, respectful people. But if in a public venue, there's some challenge, we have many things to say. Many things to say. Is that okay?
And also one question that, like in present time, many impersonators are not bona fide. Like they are not also referring to Vedic literature. Like in Vedas also there is one stage, Brahma realization. Like Sanat Kumara and
Yes, Brahmanandis.
So these impersonators, what conception they have of about personality of Godhead. Like Durvasa Muni also approached Lord Vishnu. So he is thinking that Lord Vishnu is below the Brahma effulgence or what?
Krishna calls us stupid. Abjaktam jaktam apanam manditi mam abudaya param bhavam ajanatu mamabhyayam amuktamam. He says, someone who thinks that I am manifest from abhyakt, from impersonal, he said he's abudaya. If you have no intelligence, what does that mean? You're stupid. Krishna is saying directly, you're stupid if you think I am manifest. But this is their philosophy. That Ram, Shiva, Krishna, Narayan, Vishnu, Saraswati, Durga, all are manifested from impersonal Brahman. And spiritual life is a box of chocolates, just take your pick. It's all the same. They're all Brahman, take your pick. Krishna is Para-Brahman. Why does Shastra talk about Para-Brahman? Brahman and Para-Brahman. How do you support your Advaitavad? If Shastra talks about Para-Brahman and Brahman. So, Brahmanandit, Vadanti tak-takta vidas Bhagavatam vidas, Vadanti tak-takta vidas taktam vidas jnanavadvayam, Brahmeti, Paramatmeti, Bhagavaniti Shabdate. So Prabhupada gave a simple example, many examples, like a mountain. Just see a mountain from a distance, it's a mountain. Some projection into the horizon. Okay, a mountain. If you get closer, you say, oh, there's trees on the mountain. Oh, there's houses on the mountain. If you're standing on the mountain, you know everything about the mountain. So Bhagavan Iti Shabda, we know everything about God, His Leela. his body, his family, his leela, his pastimes, his associates, his qualities, his likes, his dislikes. If you know that about Krishna, you know about his Brahman teacher. You know about his Paramatma teacher. But those who are simply limited to Brahman effulgence, that's all they know. That's amazing also. That's also amazing. But it's imperfect, it's incomplete understanding of God. So we challenge them in this way. This is incomplete, it's true. God says, Mayatataminam sarvam jagaradhyaktamurtina. He's expanded everywhere. In his Avyaktamurti, his impersonal form. Adantarasta paramana jayantarastam. He's within the atom. Where isn't there God? The whole universe is nothing but Krishna. Nothing but Krishna. Ask Hiranyakashipu, he'll tell you. He's present within the pillar. He's present within the atom. He's present within the sunlight, but he's not the sun. Sun and sunlight. Brahman feature has its origin in Krishna. Brahmano hi pratishtaham amritasya vyavasya shashvatasya chidamasa sukasya kanikantasya. Brahman effulgence rests on me, Krishna says. I don't rest on Brahman effulgence. I don't come from Brahman. Brahman comes from me. Aham sarvasya prabhu. Hundreds of verses. Everything comes from Krishna. So we should understand nicely and be able to present without becoming angry. Sometimes they say that your body just shakes. You want to slap them, but you can't. You'd like to, but you can't. You have to slap them politely with Shastra. Shastra is Shasdhatu. Shastra, Shasana, Shastra, Shasana, Shishya. All Shasdhatu, meant to control. Shastra is power. So we should know Shastra and be able to present it to these people, to establish our Siddhanta. Lokanam hitakarano tribhuvane manyocha, says in Saint Goswamis. Nana Shastra Vicharanaika Nipano. They became Shastra Nipuna to establish Dharma. Some Stavako to establish the principles of Dharma. So we should follow. We sing these songs, we meditate on these songs for a reason. We should become Shastra Nipuna, expert in Shastra for establishing Dharma. Because people don't know. And how to understand Dharma. Dharma sitaktam nihitam gohayam mahajano yena gadasapanta. Mahabharata. It's an established by argument. It's established by examining the life of pure devotee. So you want to know what is pure devotional service? Look at the life of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. Look at the life of Srila Prabhupada. Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Did you know Bhaktivinoda Thakur had 500 namhatas underneath him? 500 namhatas. Big family. Like 11 children, I think. 10 children? Big family. Married twice his first lifetime. In charge of the whole Puri management of Puri Mandir. A magistrate for the British. Been sleeping 2 hours at night and giving society the most valuable work, Gita, Sharanagati, Gita Mala, Jaiva Dharma. It's incomparably valuable books of literature. Anytime you're feeling in mind, just open songbook and read and sing Bhaktivinoda Thakur's version. Guaranteed solution, guaranteed panacea for Maya. How we say, Mama Nivedana Shuna, Vishai Durjana, Sadaka Bharata, Kichana Himara. This is pouring his heart out to Krishna. Gopinath. So Bhakti Prabhupada said we're all Bhaktivinoda Parivar, family of Bhaktivinoda Thakur. So he was a preacher, Saraswati Thakur was a preacher, Prabhupada was a preacher. We should also be preachers of Krishna Bhakti. It's not karma. It's nonsense. People say, oh, this preaching bit is karma, but we're doing bhajan. Ashtakali Alila Smarana. Yeah, the Radhi Radhi. Radhi Radhi. Hey baby, Radhi Radhi. What are you doing tonight? Radhi Radhi. Well, cheaters. Not all cheaters. Mostly cheaters. There's also saintly people doing bhajan. That's good for them. It isn't good for the world. It's not good for the world. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu didn't come to teach Smaranam. Don't be misled. He didn't come to teach Smaranam. He came to teach Shravanam Kirtanam. Hearing and chanting. Nama Sankirtan. And preaching. Preaching Krishna consciousness is Kirtan. This is Kirtan, speaking about Krishna. Hearing about Krishna. This whole ISKCON society is established on the basis of Shravanam Kirtanam. Not Smaranam. Smaranam is for old age, high-class devotees who can actually are qualified for Smaranam. I told you the story, going to downtown Denver, Colorado with the drunks. They're all engaged, they're drunk, but they're engaged in Shravanam Kirtanam. Anyone can do it, a drunk can do it, a meat eater can do it. Come to our temple, don't come drunk. Even you're eating meat, come. How will you be better? Can they do Smaranam? Meditate in Radha Krishna Leela? Ashtakaliya Smarana Leela? Impossible. But they can come and they can take prasadam. They can chant, join the kirtan, and give up their bad habits. Prabhupada said, I'm prepared to serve these people meat and wine, but let them chant holy name. He had so much faith in the holy name. And for this, Prabhupada's godbrother, Srila Akinchana Krishnadas Swamiji Maharaj, Prabhupada's beloved friend, said, you told Devi Govinda Maharaj when he was a Yogipati before he took sannyas. He said, your Guru Maharaj was the greatest acharya the world has seen. He's a disciple of Saraswati Thakur. But he said, your Guru is the greatest acharya the world has seen. Why? Because of his absolute faith in the power of the holy name. And he took it all over the world. Because of that, he's the greatest. He's more than, there's relative and absolute consideration. But relatively speaking, he's more than Ramanuja. Ramanuja never left India. Madhva never left India. Saraswati Thakur never left India. Who took the holy name and spread it all over the world? A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Our Prabhupada. And for that reason we call him Prabhupada, not Swami Maharaj. Some people have no respect because of India. They can't, the word Prabhupada sticks in their throat when they're talking about A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami. Say, oh no, just Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada. There's only Prabhupada. It's a bogus idea. We say Srila Rupa Goswami Prabhupada, Srila Jiva Goswami Prabhupada, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada, and A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. The Gaudiya Math is doing a big 150th anniversary of the appearance of Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada. It's wonderful. We should there's no ISKCON without Bhakti Siddhanta. And many of, not all, but many of them can't give up this idea of calling Swami Maharaj, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj, Prabhupada. But ask them, does anyone around the world, how many people around the world have ever heard of Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada? And those that do, how did they hear about it? Because of our Prabhupada. Forget you're all computer literate. Tell them, challenge them. Open your computer and do a Google search for Prabhupada. You'll see 20, 30 pages, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, if there's any mention of Saraswati Prabhupada. And who knows why is Bhaktisiddhanta's picture in Africa, in China, in Europe, in Mexico, North America, in Europe? Why is it there? Because of our Prabhupada. So you don't have to be in their face about it. But some of these, not all. I live in Gaudiya Math. Technically, it's separate from Gaudiya Math, but it's not ISKCON. But they have all respect for Prabhupada. They call him Prabhupada. They have a big picture of Prabhupada in the temple. There's a whole group from whole Jayapataka, His Holiness Jayapataka Maharaj's pictures. When he was a young man, a skinny sannyasi. Our Prabhupada's picture is there. Whole group from Prabhupada is there. Prabhupada's picture is just much higher than anyone else's. They have love for Prabhupada. How can I live there if they have no feeling for Prabhupada, for my Guru? I cannot stay. So if you ever meet someone that says like this, calls Prabhupada Swami Maharaj, say, my dear friend, my dear Prabhu, my dear Mataji, how does anyone in the world ever heard of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada were it not for our Prabhupada? Because it's a title. It's not an exclusive title. It's a title, but not an exclusive title. There may be another Prabhupada in the future. Why not? Why not? Our Guru Parampara doesn't end with Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Anyway, go on. Then I just have a strong feeling about this.
Prabhuji, now we can feel that your love for Prabhupada, but for a period of time, almost all the senior disciples of Prabhupada are leaving their bodies.
Yes,
So
many last year.
eventually, how this love of Prabhupada can be carried forward for the next generations to come? Because unless we have that feeling of gratitude or love for Prabhupada, we cannot, really preach.
Yeah. Even if you don't have love for Prabhupada, you should have gratitude for Prabhupada. We're all sitting here together because of Prabhupada. Can you imagine a world without Prabhupada? But Mayapur is just a dusty, unknown West Bengal Tirtha. Vrindavan, dusty, Uttar Pradesh Tirtha. Unheard of. There's no art, there's no drama, there's no Gurukulas, there's no Govindas. Millions of people never would have gotten prasadam, millions of people would have starved. No temples, no devotees. All of that happened because Prabhupada got off the Jaladuta and stepped on the soil of America with a mission to fulfill the order of his spiritual master. So even if you can't love, because gratitude and love are side by side. Begin with gratitude. What would you imagine your life? Would you be living here amongst devotees chanting Hare Krishna? How many devotees are initiated here? Would you have a guru, Prabhu? Would you have a guru if Prabhupada hadn't come? No. Would you be wearing tilak? Would you be wearing kantimala? Would you be getting up at 4 o'clock in the morning? You might be going to bed at 4 o'clock in the morning. So love is a high thing. You can't legislate love. I can't say, Guru Raj Prabhu, you should love Prabhupada. You can't legislate love. But we should be grateful. Examine your life previously and examine what your life is today. You should be very grateful. And gratitude, when it matures, becomes love. And some people will say, well, I never met him. This is material conception of life. Any of you ever dream of Prabhupada? Ever have a nice dream of Prabhupada? Yeah. So Prabhupada said, I'll come to you in your dreams. I'll come to you as other devotees. Giving some instructions like this. I told you the story. This devotee said, why are you leaving? Like it floored me. Why am I leaving? That this is super soul. My guru is speaking to me through this Mataji. Why are you leaving? I thought I didn't tell you the story. I told you the story. Came to the temple, Dinabandhu Prabhu brought us to Krishna consciousness. Dinabandhu Baba. He's my Prabhu. I don't call him Baba, I call him Prabhu, because he's my Prabhu. I'm sitting here by his mercy. So we went to see him. We thought this guy's the nicest guy we ever met. We didn't know what his Gita, Bhajan, Kirtan, Mardanga, Kirti, nothing. So he was gone, and his wife, Akuti Mataji, very also extraordinary devotee. Dinabandhu used to joke that she's the best brahmachari in the temple. Because she played Mridanga better, she gave a better class. She was like her mother, she nurtured us. So Dinabandhu was gone, Mother Kunti was there, and she filled us up to the neck, my friend and myself, up to the neck. I spent red cauliflower, potato sabji, halava, puri, rice, dal, up to the neck, pakora. Then Akuti Mataji, my friend said, okay, let's go. And Akuti Mataji said, why are you going? And I thought, why am I going? These people are wonderful. This food is wonderful. This philosophy is wonderful. I'm staying. And that was it. So sometimes Prabhupada can come to you through other devotees also. Come to you in your dreams. I had a very beautiful dream of Prabhupada. I'll tell you because it's instructive. It's not meaning self-glorification, but it's instructive. I had this dream. I'm in Los Angeles Temple. Los Angeles Temple has these two big doors, 6 doors, 3 sets of doors that open like this. Big, tall, beautiful engraved doors. So in the temple, dreams are not always chronological. This is in the 80s, it was 1985. Prabhupada was long gone from our vision. But in the dream, Prabhupada's coming. And the whole temple's ecstatic. Prabhupada's coming! And I gotta cook for him, and I gotta do his laundry, and I gotta wash his feet, I gotta ask him a question, I gotta take dust from his feet, I gotta bow down. Prabhupada's coming! So I'm standing in front of the temple, the door is open, and 2 devotees are carrying Prabhupada's deity. Big size deity, one on each side, they're carrying the deity. And I wake up sobbing. I wanted to see Prabhupada. Where's Prabhupada? I wanted to see Prabhupada. I didn't understand the dream. And 2 weeks later, I had exactly the same dream. Okay, I get it. Prabhupada's present in his deity. Not different. He's present in his deity. He's present, he said, he's present. In his photograph. He's present in his book. He's present. He reasons ill who says his Vaishnavas die. Why do we observe Sanatana Goswami's disappearance, Rupa Goswami, Bhakti Siddhanta, Bhakti Yoga? Why do we observe their disappearance? Because there's mercy. There's mercy available. Prabhupada's mercy is not available. Get some. You're all getting, because you're coming, you're making this temple so nice. You're participating in Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's Leela. Chaitanya Charitamrita doesn't end with Anta Leela. This is Chaitanya Charitamrita. How Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's Leela, his mission expands all over the universe. All over the world. This is Chaitanya Charitamrita. Chaitanya Leela. And someday, actually the statement in Chaitanya Bhagavat, that this Leela will be continually be described in the future. So who will come and do it? Who knows? So count your blessings. Your life is very blessed. You may think, I'm a young devotee. I struggle with my mind, my senses, my japa, these rules, this temple, blah, blah, blah. How can I do this? Just keep doing what you're doing. You cannot imagine the blessings that will come to you, especially you devotees. Especially you. The cream of your country, intelligentsia of your country. I'm serious. I'm just not butter polishing. I have nothing to get from you. I'm not vainly praising you. I'm just pointing out your own good fortune. And it's not an accident that you're sitting here, because Krishna consciousness will spread by class. You're the class of your country. The mass have no brain. They can't understand philosophy. They're satisfied to go see Shah Rukh Khan and what's this new movie? What is it? Patan, did you see it?
No.
Like, wow, my life is perfect. I saw Shah Rukh Khan. Muslim. Actually, this movie industry is brainwashing your whole country. Who are promoting these movies? Muslims. Oh my Lord! Oh my God!
Oh my God.
Oh my God! PK. And these. When the movie comes out, Kashmir Files, then they're in up in arms. When this truth comes out, they can make fiction to destroy Hindus' faith in their own religion. But when the truth comes out, everybody wants to riot. They're simply brainwashing people. This whole movie industry is meant to brainwash people. And who are the stars? Who is the iconic man in the movies? You know, he hasn't shaved for 6 weeks. He's wearing a black leather jacket. He drinks alcohol. He smokes cigarettes. He's got 10 girlfriends. He rides a motorcycle. He's a criminal and has a gun. And he's the hero. So what does that do to a young man's brain? Some young kid, he's 12 years old, and they idolize these people. Oh, he's a movie star. Oh, I want to be like him. Some village kid going to see the movie. Oh, this is what a man is. And what is a woman? She's dressed like this. Her breasts are practically hanging out of her dress. And she smokes and she drinks and she has 10 men in her life. And what's that do to a young girl's mind? Oh, and you see it. See little 6-year-old girls wearing lipstick.
Yeah.
And dressed like they're big girls. You're not a big girl. Hello. You're 6 years old. You're not a big girl. You can be a kid. They're stealing children's childhood. They're stealing their innocence by brainwashing society, by promoting these movies and this lifestyle. And you see it in society. If a movie star cuts all his hair here and there's a big bush on top. And all the guys cut their hair with a big bush on top. I want to be like him, If one of them wears a certain kind of what do they call it, sunglasses, then everybody wants to get those sunglasses. When Tom Cruise wore a particular type of leather jacket, all young men in America want to get the same leather jacket. Because it's cool, and I want to be cool. It's brainwashing, pure and simple. But they don't get their brain washed, unfortunately. They get their brain polluted, full of cow dung, gobar. We laugh, but it's really not funny. It's pathetic that this is happening in Bharat, the land of Rama, the land of Krishna, the land of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, of Rishabdev, of Buddha. All came here. And your culture is under attack by movie industry, by internet, by this. Everyone. Is there anyone here that doesn't have a mobile phone? And he's some complete misfit, some loser. Oh, what's the way? He'll get one. And they're promoting what to eat, what to wear, what to think, what to buy. They know where you are, what you looked at, who you called, where you've been. This is brainwashing. And we call it smartphone. And the whole world is brainwashed by this propaganda. They read on what absolute truth. Here it is, right here. They don't question. A thoughtful person questions. Every time I look at the news, I think, what do they want me to think? That's the whole Ukraine-Russia thing. Who is the good guy? Who is the bad guy? They're promoting Russia as the bad guys. They invaded. Well, maybe they had a reason. Who knows what's happening? Who knows what's happening? They say so many people died from COVID. How do you know? How do you know? Because you read it on your phone. It's all brainwashing. Because people haven't learned to think. They're not learned to question, to examine, to be impartial, to challenge. So I don't know how I got on this topic. Anyway, we're going to take prasadam. I don't want to keep you all waiting. I'll sit there. I'm a lazy retired guy, I mean, you have responsibility to students and to professors. I can sit here and jabber all day and watch your ego.
Next class we can have 12 o'clock.
10 o'clock.
12
o'clock.
No.
Okay, get some break. I will. What's this? 12 o'clock, okay. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada.
Jai.
Grantharaj. Srila Prabhupada.
Jai.